Okay, off-the-shelf Huzzah, Grand Tactical Battles of the American Civil War. 4 Battles of the American Civil War, Volume 1. So this covers Belmont, fought on November 7th, 1861 in Mississippi County, Missouri. It includes Stevenson's Depot, fought on June 15th, 1863, Winchester, Virginia. It includes the Battle of New Bern, fought on March 14th, 1862, New Bern, North Carolina, and Iuka. I think that's, well, I assume that's how you say it. Iuka, September 19th, 1862, Iuka, Mississippi. By One Small Step, published 2014. Okay, so Huzzah, Grand Tactical Battles of the American Civil War. Here is a Confederate infantry unit. The graphical approach. I don't want to go into a lot of detail here because it just that's just not the approach I want to take. I don't do reviews, but I feel. I mean, there are some things that that I feel like I have to comment on, because otherwise I understand that people will come along and, well, I guess view the video and expect me to comment on it, and they think that if I didn't comment on it, I didn't notice the obvious. So yes, so I'll go ahead, I will comment. The graphical approach, this is very non-standard, very non-traditional. But first of all, what we have is the 3rd Texas, crossed rifles. Was it probably a state flag in the background? 2 in the 5. 2 is the base fire factor. 2 is the base fire factor. 5 is the base morale. And what is the back side? The back side is just reduced values. Okay. Okay. This is what I'm just going to say and then move on. On the one hand, I am glad that designers and graphic artists try different things and experiment. That is good. But there are a lot of, but on the other hand, there are a lot of bad graphical choices here. That is not very clear. Not very clear. You have text clipping, art. It's just, what is that? I mean, does it matter? I don't know. Does it matter? I think it does, actually. That's the thing. That's the thing. I do think it matters. Here's another example. That is not the 1st Ohio. That's the 11th Ohio. But you can barely see the 11 there. I'm looking at it. I'm actually not even looking at the screen. So there. It's the 11th Ohio. Now, it certainly doesn't make anything not playable. It's just one of those things where I have to wonder. No, I don't even have to wonder. It's just, some of these things are not things to carry forward. It's good to experiment, and some of these things just don't work, so just don't carry them forward. But what I was going to say on the flip side is, I'm not saying that I want everything to be, NATO symbol. I don't want everything to be NATO symbol and combat factor and movement factor. So again, yes, I like the experimentation, but some of the things in this game just don't work very well. You have some colors that even for me, and I have, I'm not, well, I won't say, I have good eyesight, and some of these colors are way too similar, and that color, by the way, this color in the background of the values, it means something. It's basically an organizational designation. Some of these colors are way too similar. But anyways, that's that. Not a review. A few of the choices aside, it does look nice. And by the way, the choice for these hex sides, not a good choice. It's like, this was an interesting choice. I think it could have been done better. But and again, I'm not saying that I want hex sides to always be black, solid lines in a complete grid. But this is an odd approach. But anyways, despite the hex sides, and despite some of the poor graphic choices for the units, actually, and the markers, and the game markers, yes, the game does, in kind of an overall sense, overall means units on the board in the middle of play. It is pleasing looking. Okay. But I mean, I've mentioned this before, and this is why I don't do reviews. Pleasing view means essentially nothing to me. I've talked about this before. I would go for a black and white map and pieces in grayscale if the game is good, if the gameplay is good. So yes, it's a pleasing looking game. However, again, pleasing looking is worth virtually nothing to me. Okay, and this is an off-the-shelf video. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be jumping right into the heart of the game, and then kind of come out, take a look at some of the major mechanics, and then I'll see where I want to go from there. I think that's a good way to put it. All right, so I'm going right to rule section 6, unit action fire. Let's get right into it. So, all right, so unit firing. All combat units have a fire zone, or FZ, that extends out their front hexes to their maximum range. So, first question is, what are front hexes? And 2, how do you figure out range? Combat units there's a combat unit facing subsection, which falls under what? Falls under unit actions movement. So all combat units except routed ones. So what does a routed unit look like? Okay, routing. Here's a Union Infantry Unit, 26th Illinois. This is a route marker. I assume a routed unit looks like that. But I'm not sure. I'm assuming that. Okay, and then position. Okay, so we want to position our combat units like this, facing a vertex, and so the two hexes that it's facing are the front hexes. So its top faces a vertex. The 2 hexes split by the vertex is the front. All other hexes are the flank. Okay. And then range. I think that range. Okay, so range fire beyond a unit's maximum range is not allowed. See the combat reference for weaponry ranges. Is this the combat reference? It's the play aid, I guess. Okay, I'm guessing this is the combat reference. There is a range factor table. So it does say here, although with all sorts of spelling errors, cross-reference the firing range to the unit type firing. So this is infantry, the 3rd Texas there. So infantry, that value is the multiplier to a unit's fire factor. So I guess infantry has a range of 3 hexes. And then down here, I guess this is important. F equals S times R. By the way, I have no problem. Actually, I like formulas. So fire factor equals strength points firing times range factor. So maybe the 2 for the 3rd Texas, as a matter of fact. At 2 hexes maybe. So the third Texas, yeah, with a fire factor of 2 at a range of 2 hexes, 2, so maybe for this combat it would be 4. The fire factor is 4. Okay. A unit's fire zone is determined by its unit type. Oh, and its line of sight. Okay. Okay, so line of sight looks fairly straightforward. We do have, just to note, we do have what they call, what do they call it? Slopes. So I think these are slopes. So I think that this is a good example because it's a continuous line of slopes here. So these 2 hexes are a rise. Okay, so other than that, I think it's line of sight is fairly straightforward. So now we have be sure to differentiate between a fire zone, that's what we've been talking about so far, and a minimum fire zone, MFZ. So real quickly, what is important there? All right, so all unrouted units have an MFZ of 1 or 2 hexes depending upon their state of disorganization and line of sight. Players should note the difference between a fire zone and a minimum fire zone. By the way, real quickly, I'll just organizational hits, which by the way, in general, I kind of like. We have these. We have here's another graphical choice. With all this lush graphics, why are these markers background this stark white? But anyways, so this is 1 organizational hit. Flip it over for 2 organizational hits. And while we're talking about that, taking losses, I get losses are recorded using number chits, which isn't actually true. It's these, I think. Every time a unit suffers an O hit, that's organizational hit, place a number counter equal to the total number of O hits taken beneath it. For example, a unit that receives 1 O hit will have a 1 O hit counter beneath it. Oh, well, at least they go under. Okay. I thought they went on top. That's interesting. Why put them under? Why make them graphical like that when you're not even going to see them? But okay. So I think that the 3rd Texas takes its first O hit. It goes like that. If it suffers another hit, flip the O marker over to the 2 hit side, like that. Still underneath. When a unit at full effectiveness suffers a 3rd O hit, effectiveness, what is effectiveness? Okay, remove the O hit counter, remove it, and flip to its reduced effectiveness side. Okay. Yeah. And then a unit at reduced effectiveness that suffers a 3rd O hit is removed from the map. That doesn't even make sense. This is funny because I have I thought I had the updated, changes. This is version 2.0. First O hit, 2nd O hit. Oh, whoops. Okay, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th. When a unit at full effectiveness suffers a 3rd O hit, remove the O hit counter and flip it to its reduced effectiveness side. A unit at reduced effectiveness that suffers its 3rd. Unless they mean you go through all the way again. That's certainly not clear, but are they saying now you go 1, 2? Oh, well, I mean, I guess that's what would make sense anyways, but they definitely don't clarify that. Okay. Huh, okay. Well, I'll assume that for now, but I am going to read the example of play that I downloaded from somewhere and see. Okay, all right. So the minimum fire zone. It's not clear why this is important. Minimum fire zone. A fire zone extends out a unit's front to its maximum range, which we already said was 3 hexes for infantry. Yeah. A minimum fire zone extends out a unit's front into selective hexes, or maybe select hexes. Movement into units MFZ. Okay, we usually trigger fire from that unit. Okay. Okay. Infantry and cavalry. Okay, these guys aren't on elevation, so. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Okay. If it's meant to be a reaction fire zone, then I'm not sure why it's called minimum. Why is it called minimum fire zone?